Greetings, villains, vigilantes, heroes, and heroines. You're tuned in to Project SuperVillain. I'm your host, Dark Drifter, and today I'm going to be doing another top 5. It's the month of February coming up, and we've got some great games coming out this month. We've got a lot, actually, to go into. I actually was able to narrow it down to 7. I know it says it's a top 5, but we never are telling the truth about that. You guys have to, just understand this. There's always going to be some honorable mentions. Come on. Anyway, let's jump into it. Number 5, Octopath Traveler 2. Coming up February 24th on the PC, PS4, PS5, and the Nintendo Switch, developed by Square Enix and Acquire Corp, and also published by Square Enix. Okay, so this is a different kind of JRPG. This game is actually 8 different stories intertwined. It's really cool. If you haven't played the first one, that's okay. This is apparently a standalone one. But yeah, you play as 8 different travelers with different stories. Each of them are basically different classes in an RPG. So, you can choose your thief class, you can choose your mage, you can choose your warrior, that kind of thing. There's 8 different characters, though, so there's more than just the 3 I mentioned. So yeah, you will cross paths with other characters from the other storylines while you're playing. It's just it's going to be at different points for each story, obviously, and you're going to be focusing on each of these characters' different walks of life, more so than ever in this game, apparently. It's also going to feature a day and night cycle, which is actually going to make this vast and diverse world that much more explorable. Essentially, you can explore it twice because all the NPCs and some of the events that happen in the game will happen either in daytime or nighttime. And so, for example, if you're playing as the warrior, you can apparently go around and challenge people to combat during the day. And at night, you can bribe residents and learn about hidden items and stuff by talking to people. But again, yes, this is a completely standalone game, so if you haven't played Octopath 1, you're still set. You can still play this game and not have to worry about playing the first one, but I hear it's really good, so you should try that if you haven't. On top of everything else, the HD 2D art style that they featured in the first game is back, and it's absolutely more detailed. It looks beautiful, actually. Always really appreciated this art style. It's different, it's simplistic, but also very complex at the same time. Yeah, it's just really cool. So I do appreciate a good art style like that. And that's all I got for Octopath. Let's move on to the next one. Number 4, Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. Alright, coming up February 24th for the Nintendo Switch exclusively, it's Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Kirby's had, I think it's his 30-year anniversary or some shit. It's a remake of the original game from the Nintendo Wii, but it's featuring a lot more. It's got the side-scrolling platforming that you remember, all the characters you remember. You can play as the 4 different forms of Kirby, and you can play as Meta Knight, King Dedede, or Waddle Dee. And it features new minigames and returning minigames as well. So there's going to be lots to do in this game. Really good to see. Redesigned DDD looks something like Club Penguin, but that's it's a video for another day. New abilities and moves. Recognizable Smash Bros. Moves make an appearance in this game. I think they were used in some of the other Kirby games in more recent times as well, but they are being added into the Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which is again coming out on February 24th, so don't miss that. Let's move on to our next one. Number 3, Sons of the Forest. Coming out February 23rd for the PC exclusively. It's developed by End Night Games and published by New Night. This is a first-person survival builder where you basically are alone in the forest or with friends, depending if you're playing multiplayer, and you're crafting your own base and just surviving out in the wilderness, essentially. There is a plot to follow. I'm not super familiar with it because I unfortunately didn't play the first game, but I have it and I just have not had the time to spend in it, unfortunately. So that being said, I have lots of friends that recommend me getting into this game, so I really should at some point. It looks great. This one especially looks awesome. It's got incredible immersion. The realistic building mechanics look amazing, actually. Another thing in this game is there's friendly NPCs across the map that can either help you or give you quests. I don't know if that was in the first game, possibly, but that's apparently a feature in this one that they made a point to talk about in some of the trailers. So the AI is more intelligent in this game. They'll actually steal your shit, they'll attack you, they'll damage your base. A lot more intelligent behavior shown in the AI in this time around. They wanted to make sure that it was a little bit more immersive, and there's even intimidation mechanics in this game, so you can scare off some of the cannibals and whatnot. The enemies in this game, some of the newer ones, are creepy and better designed than they were in the first game. Things like creepy conjoining limbs and stuff like that. Shit that you'd find in movies like The Thing. Just kind of really creepy. So if you're into like this like first person survival builder sim, but also like with a mix of horror, then you should definitely keep an eye on Sons of the Forest, which is coming out on the 23rd of February, so don't miss that. Moving on to our next one. Number 2, Tales of Symphonia Remastered. Oh yeah, I'm so excited for this one. Coming out February 17th for the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Nintendo Switch. Developed and published by Bandai Namco. So obviously I did mention that it's PS4 and Xbox One. I didn't say the new gen, but obviously you can play it on those. But it's specifically like being made for old gen, so I found that to be funny. I guess physical releases might not be coming out on PS5 and Series X for a while. But that being said, who knows? It's a faithful remaster of the critically acclaimed Nostalgia Blast hit that I personally loved when I was a kid. I played so much Tales of Symphonia. Oh my god. You know what? It's funny. I never actually beat it. The reason I played so much of it, though, is because I attempted to beat it twice. So I got halfway through the game twice. It's a long-ass game, so if you're not fully committed to it, or something comes up in your life and you need to take a break, you better remember what you were doing, because also it's one of those games where you kind of just don't always have great direction as to where you're going. You have to figure things out a little bit more yourself. It's an older game, so anyways, I'm droning on. It's a really awesome game. I can't stress that more. It's got amazing hack and slash combat with 4-player co-op making a return, which was just something that was so freaking missed in the latest Tales game. I hope they make a return in the newer ones. It's just such a fun time. One person controls the main character throughout the dialogue scenes and whatnot, but when the battles come up, which is pretty frequently, 4-player co-op jumps in and all your friends can play. So yeah, it's, you know, some people play as mages, some people play as swordsmen, or there's like thief class, there's archer classes sometimes. It's really one of the best JRPGs ever. I can't stress that more. Like it's came out on the GameCube, and I'd love many people say it's the best RPG on the GameCube, potentially one of the best RPGs out there. So it's the one drawback from this though is that it's sadly only going to be 1080p 30 FPS. Really strange decision not to just jump it up to 60 FPS at this day and age. I just find it so strange when that's not the norm at this point. It's just amazes me, and especially when you're making a point to remaster a game. That's kind of weird to me. But anyways, I'm droning on. This is a great game. I still recommend getting it despite the 30 FPS thing. It's coming out on the 17th. Don't miss it. All right, here's our first honorable mention. Deliver Us Mars. And that's coming out February 2nd for the PC, the PS4, the PS5, Xbox One, Series S and X. Developed by Koken Interactive. I think I said that right. It might be Keken Interactive? Fuck, I don't know. Frontier Developments PLC is the publisher, and it's a third-person strategy adventure thriller where it's basically a sequel to Deliver Us the Moon, if you've ever heard of that game or played that. And it's basically a puzzler game, so you're going around, and it's like a pretty spooky game as well. Like, you're alone on Mars. I think there's going to be more people in this one, though. I remember I didn't beat Deliver Us the Moon, but I played a good chunk of it, and it's really like, it's kind of got the spooky vibe to it for the most part, so I wonder if that continues in this one. So Earth's on the verge of extinction in this game, and you need to go to Mars to like retrieve an item and a couple other things. There's a few reasons. I'm not going to get into too much of the lore here, but it is a really cool looking game. You can see from the trailer here. It does feature a new protagonist. One of the things that I think they're making more of a focus on is the traversal in this game. So they're adding pickaxes to your inventory to use for wall climbing, so there's going to be great verticality in some of the maps that you can make advantage of with the wall climbing. And apparently there's going to be platforming in this game as well, so I don't know too much about that. I haven't seen too much of that in the gameplay, but anyways, we're going to move on to the next one because I don't have too much more information about this one. Second honorable mention, Wild Hearts. Coming out February 16th for the PC, the PS5, and the Xbox Series S and X. It is developed by Koei Tecmo and Omega Force and published by Electronic Arts. This game actually looks really good. It's a new Monster Hunter style game, kind of crossed with some Fortnite looking stuff with building here. It's a 3-player online multiplayer with cross-play functionality, which is really nice. I guess they didn't want to go with the full 4-player, which I think a lot of games have been doing that more lately. It's definitely a lot easier to get together with 3 friends than it is with 4. That being said, the building that I was mentioning is like an ability you can pick up, I believe, or it might be something you just have like inherently with the character that you pick. Not 100% sure on that, but the building involves making like machinery that helps you take on these giant monsters, and it also helps you with traversal depending on what you're building. And these things build like instantaneously. It's not like something you have to take like tons of time to do. because you're in the middle of a fight when you're doing this usually, right? So it's got to be quick. That being said, there's some pretty cool looking ones. Like there's like a hammer that'll just smack down on the enemy. There's a bomb that'll blow up. I saw some stuff that'll let you like dash in midair randomly. But this game is really cool looking with its traversal, I gotta say. There's dashing, jumping, grappling, so grappling hooks I mean, and sliding. Like it's just fun movement overall. Other traversal options like with the building that, like I said too, like dashing and there's like wall scaling and stuff like that. Just really cool stuff. I really appreciate the effort put into that. And also the amazing enemy design. Holy crap, look at some of these. Each of these enemies have like different elemental themes too, so like I guess it goes with the area that you're in. Kind of reminds me of Dauntless, if anybody played that, which was basically free to play Monster Hunter. This game is very Monster Hunter Dauntless. It's very that style. It's got its own thing though, I gotta say. It does look a little different from the other ones, and this one's got really flashing looking hack and slash too. Cool looking swords and variations. I'm not sure if there's any other weapons, I couldn't really see. But it looks like there's like an umbrella. They make the combat look really cool with that, I gotta say. Never thought I'd think umbrella combat was cool, but damn, I'm blown away. Number 1, Atomic Heart. Coming out February 21st for the PC, the PS4, the PS5, the Xbox One, Series S, and X. It's developed by Munfish and published by Focus Entertainment and 4Divinity. So, this game looks really cool. We put it at the number 1 slot for a reason. It's this alternate history, Soviet Union-based game. Like the setting is in 1955. But in this universe, robotics are like heavily advanced already. And it's a first-person shooter game, a single-player open-world RPG. There's a lot to unpack with this game. I didn't do too much I don't have too much information written down for brevity's sake, but let's just get into it. There's vehicles for traversal. There's massive bosses to fight. You get these things called this thing called a polymer glove that allows you to use like elemental powers, kind of similar to like the abilities you'd find in like a game like Skyrim. So I'm pretty sure that might be an upgradable thing as well. I'm not 100% on that. There's a crafting system in this game, so you can upgrade your weapons, and like, so a lot of the crazier ones look like they're made up of mostly like trash and like various things put together. So it kind of has like a Dead Rising vibe to it there. It also has stealth elements and quick time events, so that's pretty cool. There's a lot to this game. It's not just a shooter. I'm not sure when the quick time events will be taking place. I imagine maybe in like cutscenes or something. Or I can't even imagine when else there would be them, but they do mention that they're going to be in the game. The same with the stealth elements. I can only speculate on how that'll work. Maybe it's just like hide behind cover here and there. Obviously crouch. Maybe who knows if the AI is going to be intelligent. It could be like Arcane Studios kind of deal here. I don't know if anybody's played any of those games, but you know how the AI is in those if you have. Anyways, 3 different difficulty options make for a different gameplay style. If you want to have a little bit more of a tougher time, you can play the hard mode. There's a story/narrative mode there, and then there's the medium difficulty, which is the recommended. There's 4 DLC packs planned in the future as well, so that naturally means they gotta add a battle pass, doesn't it? That being said, I'm not really against these kinds of battle passes. These are the good ones, where they add like extra content later on. Usually it's good, that being said, if the content is good enough. But I'm droning on. I do that a lot. Let's just wrap this video up, shall we? That's it for Atomic Heart. It's a really cool looking game coming up February 21st, so don't miss out on that. But that's it for today's video. Hey guys, if you made it this far, I appreciate that. If you want to hook us up with some support on the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and you can join us whenever we do another top 5. But this upcoming month, we've got some pretty big plans. Make sure you stay tuned on the project for the Gamma Show. That's the Gaming and Music Awards show coming out February 25th, and we're going to be doing a just big collaborative music and gaming award show where we just celebrate the best in those categories. In the music category specifically, it's dubstep. I'm sure you're aware of that if you've been around here a while. But that being said, don't miss that. We've got 2 other shows that we've done already, so if you want to see it now, I'll link it right around here. And in a little bit here, just wait for the outro. But speaking of that, it's probably time for me to take off. So if you enjoyed the video, again, any support's appreciated. But thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. And Project Dismissed. Pete Jack.